Resident engagement. The publication about residents and us begins with a welcome from Kate Waring, followed by news of development, lettings, neighbourhoods and estates. Next is sustainability and independent living, home sales and home ownership, customer services and IT, resident engagement, and finally, how have you been involved? Our Soha, Residents and Us. Resident engagement April 2024 to June 2025.
Kate Waring, Chief Executive, writes, "Welcome," and says, "It would be extraordinary if an 8,000 home housing association with frontline teams working across over 750 square miles didn't have an impact on the communities it serves." This impact report isn't about what Soha does from its offices in Didcot though, but how residents work together with us to make what we do effective. The following tracks take you on a journey from developing new homes through letting them to managing homes and work on our estates. Every aspect of our work takes place in collaboration with 2 or 3 portfolio holders. They're Soha members who have an interest or expertise in a particular area of our work. What they tell us is invaluable. You'll hear that, wherever possible, we consult residents on any element of our work which impacts on you. You'll also hear about 2 consultations where we invited every single one of our residents to take part in. What you said directly informed our corporate plan for the next 5 years and our approach to Soha Response, our new in-house repairs and maintenance service, which launched on the 1st of May. We'll also tell you about the smaller scale, more specialist consultations we have done. You'll hear in another section how we're making neighbourhoods greener and, crucially, how residents have made that happen, whether by telling us your priorities or rolling up your sleeves alongside us. In short, there's a lot to celebrate from the last year and to inspire us for the coming one. At the end of this publication, there's information on how you can get involved with Soha and very often receive a thank you in the form of a shopping voucher for doing so too. You may not personally have been deeply involved in the last year, but when you do feed back to us, whether with staff in person, on social media, in writing, or on the phone, we aim to listen and act. Whatever you've done, thank you. As for next year, there are loads of opportunities to collaborate with us in your community. We will do all we can to make them work for you. Get in touch and let's have that conversation. Kate Waring, Chief Executive. Usually we send you our annual review, our formal update on the year's activities separately, but this year we're saving postage of around £7,500 by putting 3 publications in one envelope.
Throughout this impact report, you'll hear some facts or figures about what we've done in 2024-25. The name of the person who would love to tell you about resident engagement with the service. Contact details for anyone at Soha are at the end of the report. What we say about the service or the commitments made in our corporate plan for the next 5 years. What a resident or delivery partner, or sometimes both, has told us. Have you heard about the Soha Community Fund? We're offering grants to resident groups, local voluntary and community groups, charities, social enterprises and not-for-profit organisations that provide services, projects, initiatives and events that address a need in the local community and benefit Soha residents. We're also helping to fund support for Soha residents and their immediate family members to access education and training to develop their skills and increase job prospects. Applications are reviewed by a panel of residents and Soha staff. For full information about the kind of initiatives we are encouraging, the funding criteria, and the amount we can give to each type of activity, contact communities@soha.co.uk. Nikki said I became part of the Community Fund panel group as I'm keen to learn more about how Soha helps the community. It is really important that I can help keep the focus on Soha residents. This is in the hope they will benefit from the funding given to the various local groups that apply.
Development. Resident portfolio holders are Kay Sentence from Thame and Richard Rule from Warborough. There are 3 strands to the work of the development team: land-led projects, our land, our planning, our design, Section 106 homes, and projects with community land trusts, CLTs. These are community-led initiatives to create a small development of local homes for local people. CLTs are interested in working with Soha for its development expertise, its ability to get its hands on the necessary finance to deliver schemes, and its access to social housing grants from Homes England, the government's housing and regeneration agency. CLT boards have not yet, in our experience, featured social housing residents, but there's no reason why they should not. In Hook Norton, we built 8 net zero carbon homes for affordable rent and 4 for shared ownership, the culmination of 4 years' work with the Trust, and in Thame, signed contracts to get 31 affordable homes, 16 for rent, 15 for shared ownership for local people in housing need underway. Hannah told us, "I inquired about the development because I feel part of this community. I see this house as my launchpad to getting back into my career, preferably in the village." The official opening of Culham House, Soha's first ever land-led net zero carbon development, saw a great turnout of residents and neighbours. Resulting from comments from our residents at the event, our development team are investigating adding residents' flats rather than just the communal areas as currently to the electricity feed from the solar PV panels. This means that, in the short term, any cash rebate from the feed-in income generated for Soha by the building will be to the financial benefit of the resident. We're convinced of the benefits to the environment and to individuals' energy bills of net zero carbon, but have an ongoing dialogue with residents of all such homes to measure the positive impact on their outgoings and lifestyle. 86 homes built from the 1st of April 2024 to the 30th of June 2025. In addition, we bought 7 homes on the open market to be used as temporary accommodation, 53 for affordable rent, 14 for social rent, and 19 shared ownership. In our Corporate Plan 2025 to 2030, we commit to increasing the supply of affordable homes by building 200 homes a year. We will use local data and work in partnership with others to ensure that we build the right mix of properties to meet the varied and changing needs of our communities. We'll enable people to have a greater say in what goes on, including by supporting community land trusts and other locally led efforts to build new homes. Section 106 homes are private developers providing an element of a development scheme for affordable housing under the terms of a legal agreement, S106, with the local authority. Soha has no input over the design of these schemes, but does manage quality. Find out more from Craig Dransfield, Head of Development.
Lettings. Resident portfolio holders Victor Breach, South Stoke, and Val Kerr, Didcot. This team sets up tenancies of new build and existing stock. Mutual exchanges, where residents swap homes, are handled by the neighbourhood team, and we welcomed 72 households through that route between the 1st of April 2024 and the 30th of June 2025. Lettings' guiding principle is to get the right person in the right home and help build a community from the moment of proposing to offer a home. Through them, Soha continues to be inclusive of housing people who would find it difficult to get a home elsewhere, and in 2024-25 let 200 homes through special projects. These included homes for people with no recourse to public funds, for example those granted permission to remain in the UK for human rights reasons. In Cherwell District Council's area, we provided homes in partnership with the Council and the Home Office for people fleeing Afghanistan. We're known for our flexible approach to the challenges of local homelessness, the role we play, and being a landlord of choice for those in housing need. A lettings app for prospective residents to track the progress of their application, a recommendation by residents, is a work in progress. In the wider landscape, in our corporate plan, we commit to continuing to develop a flexible model that enables residents to seamlessly transfer from temporary to permanent tenancies without needing to move home. 21. The target to re-let existing homes after they were vacated was that this should average a maximum of 21 days in 2024-25. The team has achieved this. 706. In total, we let 706 homes between the 1st of April and the 30th of June 2025. The portfolio holders hold Soha to account for the condition and longevity of the property that's being let. For new builds, especially those with special or eco features, this means spending extra time with new residents at sign-up to explain how to make the most energy-efficient use of their homes. In older stock, we are especially conscious of supporting residents to combat damp and mould, things like opening the windows when we carry out a viewing and demonstrating their best use for keeping the property ventilated, such as keeping trickle vents open once moved in. We build and, where needed, fund strong partnerships with local agencies that can provide specialist advice and support to residents. Lettings can also call upon Soha's own tenancy sustainment team, offering their services to all refugees and any resident for whom their Soha tenancy is their first ever. Portfolio holders monitor this and ensure that lettings provide the same level playing field to every new tenant based on their individual needs. Vincent said, "I would like to express my gratitude for the B&Q decorating voucher and for the invaluable support you have provided in guiding my client through everything. Thank you for your time, dedication and continued support." And Y said, "To return to Oxfordshire to be with family and friends again and a home like I've not had for years, I'm happy to stay here for the rest of my life." Get in touch with Emma Morell, Letting Service Manager, to talk about resident engagement across her service.
Neighbourhoods. Resident portfolio holders Victor Breach from South Stoke and Val Kerr from Didcot. Once you've settled into your Soha home, you might well want to call on the services of your neighbourhood officer for advice or support. There are 10 dedicated community neighbourhood specialists at Soha, 2 for each locality, and from 2025, 2 engagement and community officers as well. All work together with residents and other staff experts in the local team. The aim is to make neighbourhoods a great place where our residents are proud to live. Our teams carry out regular door knocks, publicised on the Soha website at www.soha.co.uk/events and in the monthly e-bulletin so that residents are aware. They aim to get to know residents and their priorities, sometimes about a particular issue, or to ask for more general feelings about the community. Drop-ins where no appointment is needed are an opportunity to meet your local team and discuss anything from repairs to rents, grass cutting to moving house. You can find out where they're taking place on the Soha website, on our social media, or by calling in at no cost on 0800 014 1545. In the last year we went to food banks, community centres and cafes, community larders and toddler groups, or simply hired a centrally located meeting place like a village hall. Where do you think we should be? Just let us know. Dinner and chats were started at the end of the last business year. We invite you to dinner at a restaurant central for most in the locality. It's a relaxed way for you to voice your issues to the community staff working in your neighbourhood. You would also have found us last year at Oxford Pride, Oxfordshire Play Association Playdays across the area, and one-off events across the area. When we consulted widely with residents about what our priorities should be over the next 5 years, our corporate plan, they told us that our goal should be to make residents part of more connected and resilient communities with more power to bring about positive change where they live. We'll continue to support residents to strengthen relationships with neighbours and local organisations. We held the ever-popular Skip Days, exclusive to Soha residents, more than one a month on average. One resident told us they hadn't really met their neighbours until they were both decluttering, using the Soha skip at the same time. They are always well attended, and the skip always gets collected full to the brim. It is often residents telling us that they've spotted fly tipping that causes us to hire a skip. They tell us they like these sessions because of the expense, and difficulty of getting to a council refuse centre often causes them not to bother. Sometimes there's enough room where we place the skip to also run a Here to Help You pop-up alongside, occasionally with a partner agency or organisation. At one in Tame, for example, we were joined by a coach from debt relief charity Christians Against Poverty. You don't have to wait for an invitation to take part in a community survey drop through your door. If you're a Soha resident, you could take it right now here. Tell us what you like about your neighbourhood, what you would improve or change for the future, and how you would like to be involved in the change.
In 2024-25, you told us your significant priorities were greener or cleaner spaces. Soha residents identified with us several areas in the Henley locality where trees and mini orchards could be planted. We partnered with the new environmental group and Oxfordshire County Council's Countryside and Tree Service to work on a joint initiative to use Soha green spaces to plant mini orchards in Sonning Common and Rotherfield Peppard. We now have 5 tree guardians among our residents. They will keep an eye on the saplings, watering and tending them so that there'll be fruit for everyone to enjoy. In Whitchurch-on-Thames, the Polish Memorial Church Garden is at the heart of a Soha estate in memory of the Polish families who lived and worshipped in a hut on that site following World War II. The area was very overgrown, so residents joined us, a parish council action group and some secondary school children in cutting back areas so that it could be enjoyed as a respectful community space. We funded a tree for residents to plant alongside bulbs, and it's our residents who will be keeping it tidy from now on. Sometimes residents feel powerless to change their immediate environment, and that's when a housing association like Soha can have a bit of clout in engaging with authorities. In Swindon, we spent time talking with Environmental Health and Swindon Borough Council and together worked on overhauling one particularly troublesome bin store and adding capacity. At other times, residents know what would make a difference, but need us to give efforts a bit of a boost by drawing together a collective plan. We did this in Wallingford by putting in a new communal area where there had previously been wasted space just attracting rubbish. A path was laid, and before it was set, everyone was invited to contribute handprints or words to it. We've put benches in too. People got to know each other at the event, and, we hope, will continue to use it sociably now the general dissatisfaction with the area has dissipated. 39. There are 39 frontline staff within our local community teams. Apart from the neighbourhoods team, they cover the specialisms of community development, estates, home ownership, lettings, independent living, rental income, repairs, tenancy enforcement and tenancy sustainment. 147. In the 3 months from the 1st of April 2025, the Communities team made 147 new contacts with residents by being out and about.
Cost of living support. It's undeniable that Soha's homes are located in a very expensive part of the country. You've told us that you'd like us to put our energy into activities that make a difference to coping with the costs of family life. Each locality has a budget to add value to projects that will direct help to our residents. Where we can, we also set up our Here to Help pop-up stand so that we're on hand to support residents who attend. Among these were Day Out and Dinner, a Great Western Railway initiative run at Didcot Railway Centre with volunteers from many groups, including Soha. The one we attended saw 120 visitors. The organiser said it was evident how much everyone appreciated the break in the often financially tight summer holidays. Summer of Skate activities, hosted by ATB Shop, with support from the South and Vale Community Safety and Active Communities teams, took place at skate parks across South Oxfordshire and the Vale of White Horse for a month in the holidays. Soha not only sponsored these, but attended many of the sessions. We pump prime other organisations when they are already doing a great job. For example, the new First Steps Baby Bank for Didcot and the surrounding villages. Our funding helped it supply 16,199 items to 50 families, of which 7 were Soha referrals in just 10 months to the 30th of June 2025.
How do we deliver your priorities? Partnerships are key to how we deliver our services. Apart from those mentioned just now, our partners include grant-giving bodies such as Didcot Powerhouse, the NHS through primary care networks, wellbeing hubs, mental health teams or social prescribers. Regional agencies like Age UK Oxfordshire, Didcot Train, Youth Provision, Nomad in Henley, Youth Provision. Citizen environment groups such as Greener Henley. Community organisations such as Barton Neighbourhood Community Centre, Estates Residents Association, for example Kingsgrove in Wantage. Others such as primary schools, parish councils, social services, estate management and groundworks companies, and Thames Valley Police. Martin Gillett, Oxfordshire Play Association, told us, "Our play days aim to build communities through play, with free entrance and free activities to ensure an inclusion for all." We are so very grateful for Soha's support, both practically and financially, over many years, which means that there is a vital summer holiday highlight for some of the county's most hard-pressed families. I know it also means that Soha and the other agencies, clubs and organisations that attend get to profile themselves as genuinely wanting to build relationships with their service users and often to be able to support them on the spot in a relaxed atmosphere.
Working together for fairness. Soha and residents combating tenancy fraud. Our resident magazine, Home Talk, featured an appeal to you in July 2024 to help us and ultimately help your communities. We asked you to tell us if you suspect tenancy fraud or if a home is not being used appropriately, such as abandoned or sublet. A specialist tenancy enforcement officer managing cases on behalf of the community neighbourhood team successfully took action in 15 cases in 2024-25, directly as a result of working together with residents. One told us that it was empowering to have Soha on their side, mobilising police and a council's fraud team when neighbours had been prepared to turn a blind eye. Over the year we have been able to take back some much in-demand family homes to be relet to those in need and made real inroads into combating both housing and benefit fraud. Soha residents can see that we are taking action, and their concerns and/or suspicions will be looked into and acted on if appropriate. This helps build a good relationship between us and communities, and helps tenants to build communities that they love. We welcome any inquiries about working with any organisation whose resources, skills and capacity we can harness for our residents' long-term benefit. Find out more about resident engagement in Soha neighbourhoods across the localities from Head of Communities Emma Langstaff.
Estates. Resident portfolio holders Bertie Doy from Didcot and Sonia Brooks, Benson. Much of what the estates team does is reactive, but it's the relationship with residents, your ears and eyes on the ground, that makes the difference. Have you ever joined us on an estate inspection? We advertise them on our website and in e-newsletters and attract residents who tell us your views on what concerns you. 23 trained volunteer Green and Clean champions monitor the grounds maintenance and cleaning contractors' performance and help design and shape communal spaces for everyone's enjoyment, including reporting repairs to communal areas. They meet staff 4 times a year to exchange best practice. Pete and John O'Connor, Grounds Maintenance, said my team always enjoy working with Soha Estates because, among the routine work, we get to do more unusual projects, most of which have been initiated by residents. In 2025, estates, housing officers and John O'Connor helped residents reclaim a communal outdoor space in Didcot. Residents Housing Officer John O'Connor helped residents reclaim a communal outdoor space in Didcot, which had been neglected for some years. Tenants of the sheltered housing block now enjoy an attractive leisure and vegetable garden. Philippa said, "As a member of the Green and Clean Champions team, I hope I can make a difference to the gardens and the building where I live. It's good to understand Soha's estates side of things. We all want everything done yesterday, but sometimes forget there are many others that want the same." 3,983 block inspections, 364 estate inspections, 118 grounds maintenance inspections, carried out between the 1st of April 2024 and the 30th of June 2025. Residents have a standing invitation to join us on both the latter two, estate inspections and grounds maintenance inspections. They are publicised in monthly locality, also known as community, in monthly e-newsletters to residents and spoken about on door knocks by the communities team. The estates team is committed to working together with Soha residents and contractors to provide a good service and to increase resident satisfaction with the communal areas, as well as educating and raising awareness to our residents on fire safety, recycling and waste disposal. We love to see residents being involved in their communities and the small projects that have been completed by residents using Soha's estate improvement budget. We're researching and hope to integrate GIS mapping to help improve the estate's service, something with numerous benefits also for a lot of other teams within Soha. Find out more from Rebecca Clements, Estates and Neighbourhoods Manager.
Sustainability. Resident portfolio holders are Anne-Marie O'Sullivan from Swindon and David Lloyd from Wheatley. Estates Green and Clean champions overlap a little with the composition of the Energy and Sustainability's Green Team Advisors. They are a working group of residents, staff and external agencies or community groups with a twofold interest. For one, they look at the more macro rather than operational aspects of Soha's work on greening, such as holding the Energy and Sustainability Manager to account for the use of government grant from the Social Housing Decarbonisation Fund, SHDF. Hear more about that in a moment. The team's other motivation is to work at parish level to develop new initiatives benefiting communal outdoor spaces in Soha communities. The residents on the Green Team have proposed or are working on a partnership with Wallingford Scouts to undertake a litter picking campaign, a seed exchange, and to plot verges which could be rewilded. The Hagbourne and Upton Group for Sustainability, HUGS, with whom we work closely, is considering applying to Soha's Community Fund for a grant for a moth project, which would increase awareness about the value of wildlife gardening. If successful, Soha residents would be involved in setting low-cost moth traps in gardens. The work of the Green Team, now renamed the Roots and Communities Group, in 2025-26 is an exciting opportunity for residents and partners to lead on activities in our communities, as the Energy and Sustainability team, who previously led this initiative, are now concentrating with residents solely on retrofit. Our first SHDF 2.1 grant for 2 years was £1.6 million, match funded by Soha. It was awarded in 2022-23, and we used it to retrofit 96 of our most energy inefficient homes to Energy Performance Certificate Level C, EPC C. We've been awarded a further 3 years grant starting in April 2025, which the government calls SHDF 3. With this money, we'll fit solar PV panels and possibly other measures to 175 homes. In our 2025-30 corporate plan, we commit to ensuring that all Soha-owned homes meet the criteria for EPCC, minimum energy efficiency, by 2030. We also commit to being on track to become net zero carbon by 2050. We'll invest in technology to understand the performance of our homes. Contact Paul Neal, Energy and Sustainability Manager, to find out about projects, large and small, and how you can be involved.
Independent living. Resident portfolio holders Victor Breach, South Stoke, and Val Kerr, Didcot. Good numbers attend the monthly resident meetings we hold in every independent living or extra care scheme. You raise all sorts of issues and where possible we act on them. The Housing Officer team also has quarterly meetings with the 13-strong seniors group representing residents over 55 from all tenures and types of scheme. The group played a large part in shaping the new pet policy and took part in the review of the scooter storage policy. There's more information about the seniors group in the resident engagement section later on. Residents have been able to take advantage of OK Each Day from Housing Proactive, a two-way check-in by telephone or touchpad, which takes place as the resident agrees with the provider, from daily to fortnightly, for nearly a decade. It was time to ask you for feedback on the service and whether you regarded it as value for money, as only those on full housing benefit received this service entirely free of charge. We have now agreed to phase out the service, allowing residents to choose their own monitoring service. You've also been involved in deciding on estate improvements, including work on a communal garden in one scheme which had fallen entirely out of use. With new furniture and a spruce-up, it's become a regular meeting point for impromptu barbecues on warmer days. You've also joined us on the estate inspections that take place on every scheme throughout the last year. Scheme improvement consultations saw 2 communal lounges brought up to date and given more appropriate furnishings for the age group while modernising the decor. Both schemes were more than 40 years old, and in all this time the emphasis had always been solely on redecoration. Now both are more lively, and in one, Old School Place in Watlington, there's been an uptick in the local community taking part in coffee mornings. The parish council now also holds meetings there as well, enabling residents to be that much more involved in the community just outside the door. 40%. We are proud that resident engagement across Soha's 540 independent living and extra care households is around 40%, despite many of our residents still working. Even when a scheme, for example Francis Curtis Court in Wallingford, opened in 2023, is almost brand new, we want to find out what residents think of the amenities. You told us that a hugely successful lounge with cafe, run by a local learning disability charity, was too loud, and its quite public setting at the front of the building was rather off-putting. We put out to wider consultation whether an underused meeting room, not terribly popular because of its rather corporate flooring and furnishings, should be repurposed to a quiet lounge. This has enticed Francis Curtis Court residents who wouldn't use the main lounge area and who would otherwise feel confined to their flats to feel comfortable and enjoy that much more social interaction. In scheme events, Pettifer House, an extra care scheme in a rural location near Abingdon, sees the local advice bureau, Vale Community Impact, running monthly pop-up cafes. Refreshments, social and advice chats, including from external speakers such as the PCSO, mean they are always packed. The decision as to whether to host these was taken by residents, who were asked what they thought about these taking place in their front room. They were enthusiastic, and very many attend alongside guests from the outside community. Volunteer VCI drivers bring visitors to the cafes, meaning that they and their clients are exposed to the benefits of extra care housing. Pettifer House's residents have also organised outings, which external visitors can book to attend. We hear anecdotally from our tenants and owners that they would not have got to know these guests otherwise. As a small charity trying to make big waves in rural locations, it's wonderful to bring our clients to Pettifer House for a bit of social experience. As with every charity, funding is always an issue, so to have a venue that opens its doors to us unreservedly enables us to do so much more with the afternoons we spend there. Soha residents in extra care housing may well have come from other areas, to be near family for example, and these pop-up cafes also give them the opportunity to interact with those who've been locals for longer. Over the next 10 years, the Office for National Statistics predicts that there will be a larger number of smaller households, particularly made up of people from older age groups. Our corporate plan commits us to make the best use of our current homes by creating simple processes and attractive incentives that support people to right-size their homes and so reduce both under-occupation and overcrowding. Jem Bachelia, Independent Living Service Manager, would love to hear from you.
Home sales and home ownership. Resident portfolio holders are Eliane Pony from Abingdon, Peter Haynes, Abingdon, and Mark Cairns from Cholsey. Soha's home sales and home ownership team meets portfolio holders quarterly. They report to them on recent performance and discuss upcoming projects or initiatives which might affect residents. Warwick, the head of home sales and home ownership, says these meetings are designed to generate a challenge and for portfolio holders to give his team the owner's perspective on where we could improve. These highly involved residents bear out the evidence of our inbox and to some extent the official complaints that we receive, that there are two elements to shared ownership that we can never over-explain, since there are always new residents joining us. These two questions we see most frequently relate to the legal side of shared ownership, such as staircasing, buying more shares, and extending the length of the lease. We also handle significant numbers of queries about the responsibility for repairs, the Soha owner split to the property. The Soha team benefits from more occasional but still significant involvement each time they hold a catch-up with residents at Soha's 4 extra care or retirement living schemes and at a development exclusive to owners over 55. We encourage any owner to tell us if they have housing concerns at any time and not wait for us to ask. But it was this particular cycle of listening that brought about 2 major changes. In one scheme, we changed the locking mechanism of a high-traffic door, and we are introducing individual water meters in all schemes where there are owners. The only water charge on the service charges of any extra care or retirement living resident, whether owners, social or affordable renters, in future will be for the supply to communal facilities. In early 2025, the team held their first evening drop-in, to which all shared owners were invited. Lots of questions arose from this very well-attended event, but particular suggestions for improvement, for example addressing the environmental efficiency of Soha properties, and whether we could offer a paid-for repair service to our shared owners and leaseholders, have formed part of our plans for the coming financial year. Mark told us, "I'm only one meeting into this role, but I've already been able to suggest ideas to bring the residents' perspective to the decision-making process. I'm excited to be involved in helping contribute to Soha." Our goal is to provide a housing solution that meets the needs of each individual by offering a diverse range of options. Shared ownership is a cost-effective ownership solution that means a smaller deposit compared to buying on the open market, allowing more people to step onto the housing ladder and enjoy the benefits of property investment. With shared ownership on the majority of schemes built by our development colleagues, Soha can put home ownership within grasp, even in the most prohibitively expensive areas like the Cotswolds and South East. Shared ownership and leasehold homes make up 16% of Soha stock. Warwick Ainsworth Parker, head of home sales and home ownership, would love to talk to you about resident engagement in his area of work.
Customer services and IT. Resident portfolio holders Aurora Oconee, Binfield Heath, and Deborah Longney, Abingdon. Typically, Customer Services Manager Zoe and her team meet their portfolio holders to discuss key performance indicators and upcoming team projects which will impact residents. Aurora and Deborah also job shadow the team occasionally in order to fully understand issues such as the volume of the workflow generated by your emails, phone calls, responses to social media, or by using messaging apps, the My Soha app, plus, of course, the very welcome visits you make to us in person at our reception in Didcot. One example from the last year which was teased out with portfolio holders was the pros and cons of dispensing with a post-repair paper survey in favour of one that comes through to you by text. The portfolio holders also reviewed customer services preparations for winter, when emergency calls increase due to severe weather or cold. Aurora and Deborah additionally asked customer services to look at the viability of a self-serve triage system for other areas of the business, for example estates, similar to the one about neighbourhood issues and antisocial behaviour installed on the Soha website in 2024-25. Between the 1st of April 2024 and the 30th of June 2025, customer services dealt with 82,503 phone calls from suppliers, partners and applicants as well as customers, 19,543 customer emails and 892 Facebook Messenger or chat messages from residents. Debbie and Eliane have helped guide some of our biggest IT projects this year, including setting up Soha Response and launching Total Mobile, the system which the Soha Response operatives use to receive their job instructions and send notes in real time back to our main repairs appointing system. Their involvement has kept us focused on what matters most for residents and staff, and alongside advice, they've also provided lots of personal encouragement for the IT team as they take on this huge transition. As we modernise how we connect with residents, portfolio holders have also supported work to make Soha's digital services easier and more accessible for everyone. They make sure that we don't leave residents behind. With cyber threats on the rise, Debbie and Eliane have played an important part in reviewing risks and backing the steps we've taken to keep our systems and the information on all our residents secure. They help us be more resilient. IT is called business transformation at Soha because it is at the heart of all the systems which enable us to carry on doing our day-to-day work. The portfolio holders who make such a difference here are Debbie Evans from Cromarsh and Eliane Pony, Abingdon. Contact Zoe Jones, Customer Services Manager, to hear more about resident engagement with customer services. It's over to Dave Edge, Head of Business Transformation, to tell you more about residents making a real difference to the area he's responsible for. Do contact him.
Resident engagement. We hope that we will have demonstrated by now that residents are at the heart of everything we do. You would expect nothing less of a mutual organisation where residents and staff who want to can become members and have a formal voting role in how we operate. Over the last business year, a team of 1.5 staff of resident engagement specialists help colleagues in, primarily, the local communities teams, but also across all service areas. They work to maximise opportunities for all residents to have their say, and for what you say to have an impact. They also run the Sounding Board, an informal and often initial consultation platform in which Soha runs ideas past residents whenever we are thinking of making changes to a service or need to consult them on proposed policy changes or new policies. The resident engagement team also guided and progressed the structured work of residents who co-design services at Soha. We call these residents our co-regulators. The following pages describe what they do. We then go on to look at the ways the resident engagement team has harnessed your views across the board with involvement in shaping the big decisions, the kind that are not confined to any one housing discipline. After that, we examine more specialist consultation with groups with lived experience. Jane told us, "I applied for membership at Soha at a time that was really important to me. I was motivated to be engaged within the community and felt that taking membership allowed me a voice to be able to reach out to encourage other people to experience the same and to be able to share what I have had." Co-regulators. There are 5 residents on the Soha Housing Board, 2 shared owners and 3 tenants. One is the Vice Chair and one is also a member of the newly formed Board of Soha Response. That's deliberate to ensure that your viewpoint stays central to the work of our new subsidiary. The board signs off both new and revised policies only once they are sure that residents had the chance to check that they will be effective and relevant. The Members' Forum consists of 18 residents who are members. They're elected every 3 years by a postal ballot to all our residents. Meeting every 2 months, the full forum examined policies and senior leadership attended their meetings to be challenged on them. The policies they looked at in 2024-25 were aids and adaptations, compensation and remedies, complaints, investment, lettings allocations, pests, and safeguarding vulnerable adults and children. The rent settings policy was approved by portfolio holders only. Portfolio holders are members of the Members' Forum who take a particular interest in knowing and reporting on a service area. They have an advisory and decision-making role. They meet with the head of department or director up to 4 times a year. Each of the previous pages shows who the portfolio holders are for each area. Each portfolio holder presents a report to the Members' Forum at least once a year. The strategies approved by full forum were on asset management and an update to the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion strategy. The forum monitors the delivery of the community strategy on your behalf too. In addition, the full forum reviewed changing the rules of Soha housing to allow us to borrow a higher ceiling of money. That decision, once approved by Forum, was then taken to the company AGM in September 2024. The Forum also reviewed Soha's risk management, including agreeing the risk areas to be considered in the financial year 2025-26. The Forum also carried out their annual partnerships and mergers overview and approved the draft. Corporate plan and its sequencing. They discussed Soha's self-assessment against the consumer standards and its Q3 performance, including tenancy satisfaction measures, TSM's evaluation. Any resident or someone who thinks they might like to become a Soha resident can see our TSMs on our website at www.soha.co.uk. Up to 12 scrutiny group members can be appointed, and there are currently 8. They carry out in-depth reviews of issues which they decide on, as well as monitoring our performance overall. The group write their reports based on how well Soha is meeting your expectations, with an eye on the requirements of the regulator of social housing, the government body in charge of performance for all housing associations. In 2024-25, the scrutiny group reviewed localities and communications. We have consistently benchmarked in the top 25% against other housing organisations for residents telling us they're satisfied we're making a positive difference in communities. We believe it's because we have such a local focus with involved residents from across the tenures, that is social and affordable rent and home ownership. In our corporate plan, we commit to getting better at understanding what is important to you, and to support small-scale, resident-led initiatives that build the community assets that you tell us you want.
Specialist consultations. All policies presented to Forum and onwards to the board are the outcome of resident consultations. Some are more specialist than others because we're looking for the insight of co-regulation groups who have experience of living with any disability, visible or invisible. The Disability Action and Awareness Group, DAG, reviewed the proposed AIDS and adaptations policy, the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion policy, and one on reasonable adjustments for vulnerable residents. An example of how things change when residents get involved when we consult is that DAG told us to update the Equality policy to make direct reference to how Soha protects and uses the data it collects from residents. We're grateful that so many of you agree with us about the importance of Soha knowing its customers. It's so that services can be tailored to any special requirements. Soha has now collected data across the 6 protected characteristics, including age, disability and sexual orientation, for over 95% of residents. We were particularly keen to hear the views of Seniors Group on the logo we proposed for the new Soha Response Service, our wholly owned in-house repairs contractor. We wanted to be sure the colour scheme and brand identity were clear and reassuring, and the group shared experience of, in particular, the colour contrast that was needed to achieve just that. This group also organises the annual Seniors Christmas Party for all independent living residents, with planning for the event starting in June each year. Their choices in 2024 meant a change in location, entertainer and catering supplier, which we were happy to arrange. That get-together inspired someone to become a member of the Seniors Group.
Major consultations. Soha's business aims and objectives for the next 5 years, the corporate plan, had 750 inputs from a variety of sources, including in structured meetings in person in independent living schemes, informally by posing a question per week on a blackboard for casual visitors to reception at our head office, posting on social media, asking for thoughts on priorities, and holding a Zoom call specifically for younger families. You can see more details of how residents were involved in the publication itself. It's on the publications page of the Soha website, www.soha.co.uk/publications. Another biggie was the consultation on the Empty Homes and Repairs Standard, which started with us holding a focus group with residents in early 2024. They suggested the most important questions to put out by email across all 5 localities to 741 residents. You were asked your views on what is currently done on empty homes and repairs, and the answer to most was to continue with the same standards. There were a couple of points where residents felt that responsibility should be passed from Soha to tenants, but it was clear that those who answered were interested in Soha's residents getting value for money for their rent throughout. Soha Response, the in-house repair service, started in May 2025 and was the culmination of 2 years' work. From the start of the year, running up to launch, 2 residents were involved in the communications work and helped write the survey questions, which ultimately went out to a much larger group of residents. Members Forum, DAG and Sounding Board residents were also consulted about the initial questions. We selected residents to receive this large-scale survey from, among others, people who had replied to a post-repair survey in the previous 6 months. Others had told us they were interested in giving their views through a general call-out for volunteers on the Soha website. Crucially, the responses to this survey formed the basis of the Soha Response Customer Charter, which all our new repair staff will have to sign up to. 170 residents were involved in 19 different ways of formal consultation and engagement. What they told us supported us to make sure we are delivering the right services to residents. Residents had lots of opinions on what could be done to make having a repair easier. A lot of that was about the frequency and quality of the communication from Soha. The survey finished by asking you how often you think Soha does what it promises it will do when you report a repair. You rated the way we were working, contracting out repairs, at 6.6 out of 10. We will revisit all the major questions, including this one about being trusted to fulfill when Soha Response, using our own employees, has been part of the furniture for a year. Resident Involvement Manager Jackie Logan would love to tell you about all the many opportunities there are to get involved with Soha, and often earn a shopping voucher for doing so.
How have you been involved? You may not think it, but you have if you've ever commented on or found a social media post useful. Our Damp and Mould information series, either side of Christmas, absolutely took off in terms of popularity. Looked at the freshened up website for us when we needed your candid opinion. Told a neighbour about something you saw in Home Talk. Attended an event. Opened your door to us. Taken part in a live questions and answers Ask Us Anything About session. Or told us when we got things wrong. Our complaints and feedback procedure has a whole publication of its own. What's important to know is that your engagement with Soha is very welcome. Visit www.soha.co.uk/complaints or call us on free phone 0800 014 1545 to speak to the complaints team.
Do you have time for a little bit more? There are lots of opportunities to make a difference as an involved resident at Soha. Get in touch with Resident Engagement today and choose what suits you best. Tell us whether you want to have your say in person or online, and whether you've got an hour here or there, or more regular time available. Most options have a thank you, and will never leave you out of pocket for taking part. Just email ri@soha.co.uk or call us at no cost to you on free phone 0800 014 1545. Here's an overview of Soha Housing's mutual model. Soha Housing Board and staff, governing and managing. Portfolio holders. One full forum member plus any other resident with a special interest per portfolio. Advising. Members Forum. 18 elected representatives and co-opted members. Holding to account. Scrutiny. 14 members, mix of members forum and non-forum. Challenging and checking. Representative groups. Disability Action and Awareness Group, Seniors Group, representing. Community networks. A group of Soha residents in an area who come together regularly to talk about local issues and ideas. Feeding back. Involvement opportunities. Sounding board, estates walkabouts, fun days and events, residents groups and associations, green champions and so on. Feeding back. The 2024 Members Forum AGM and thank you event kicked off the process of residents telling us their priorities for Soha's next corporate plan, 2025 to 2030.
Soha. Contact Soha Housing at 99 Station Road, Didcot, Oxfordshire, OX11 7NN. Telephone 01 235 515 900 or free phone 0800 014 1545. Email housing@soha.co.uk. Find us on Instagram, Soha Housing, on Facebook, Soha Housing, YouTube, Soha Housing, and LinkedIn, Soha-Housing. Resident engagement April 2024 to June 2025. Our Soha, residents and us.